GPT-5, which has just been released, won't solve your organization's AI challenges. And that's exactly why waiting for the next big and better model is one of the most expensive mistakes companies are making right now. In this video, I will walk you through why that mindset costs millions and 3 practical foundation strategies leaders are using instead. By the way, I'm Malyi. I've spent the last 3 years building AI engineering teams and over 16 years in tech delivering state-of-the-art products with generative AI. Here's what felt really painful to observe after this recent OpenAI's flagship model rollout. Companies that literally waited for GPT-5 to fix their fragile AI workflows saw minimal improvements when it finally arrived. And this is while 95% of generative AI products continue to fail according to MIT's research. So let me share what's actually happening when executives bet their AI strategy on the next model release. Look, GPT-5 rollout in August became the wake-up call that shattered this comfortable delusion. Users started documenting basic failures that would embarrass anyone, like Oregon labeled as Onigon, and simple math errors from a model that's supposed to have a PhD-level intelligence in that area. Reddit threads related to that release accumulated over 4,000 upvotes with 70% negative sentiment. And it's got so bad that OpenAI had to restore access to older models because their own customers were literally begging to get the previous versions back. But here's the thing that really caught my attention. I can totally understand where this wait for the next model thinking comes from. Sam Altman has been remarkably vocal about revolutionary capabilities, and honestly, the hype feels pretty intoxicating when you are staring at quarterly targets. And the pattern seemed really compelling. Each leap from GPT-3 to GPT 3.5 and finally to GPT-4 delivered genuine breakthrough. Here's what I realized though. Your AI failures probably aren't model limitations. They are architecture bad practices, data quality failures, and poor evaluation techniques pretending to be model limitations. I keep hearing executives rationalize fragile workflows with something like GPT-6 will handle our edge cases better. That doesn't sound like a strategy for me, frankly. That's simply avoiding responsibility. But the uncomfortable truth goes deeper than just model performance issues. Let me share what happened to a fintech startup whose head of AI I know personally. Their head of operations convinced leadership to delay investing in AI infrastructure because GPT-5 will make everything work seamlessly. So they spent 11 months in a holding pattern, just waiting. And then GPT-5 finally arrived. Their core workflow for processing compliance documents remained fundamentally broken. The model upgrade couldn't fix their garbage data pipeline, couldn't eliminate hallucinations on company-specific terminology, and couldn't resolve the fact that AI agent systems consume 4 to 15 times more tokens than simple workflow with minimal reliability improvements. And the estimated cost of waiting? Close to $2 million in delayed efficiency gains, plus an additional $800,000 in rushed infrastructure work to catch up to competitors who were building those foundations continuously. And this pattern repeats everywhere, actually. According to S&P Global, 42% of businesses scrapped most AI initiatives in 2024. This is up to 17% in 2023. These aren't technology failures. They are strategic failures dressed up as technology problems. And here's one really interesting thing about vendor priorities that most executives miss. OpenAI isn't optimizing for your quarterly targets. They're optimizing for their own funding round. And Google isn't chasing your workflow reliability. Instead, they're chasing reasoning supremacy. Anthropic leads on safety, not your specific edge cases. If you tracked OpenAI leadership's public appearances over the last 6 months, you would notice that primary goal of GPT-5 wasn't revolutionary capability gains. It was efficiency instead. Building something like a universally good model mindful of token consumption. Solving your failing tool calls or fixing known drawbacks from GPT 4.0 simply wasn't among their highest priorities. That's the hidden pattern killing AI initiatives. Executives abdicate architectural decisions to vendors who have completely different incentives. there is actually a proven way out of this trap. Recent industry analysis reveals that only 1% of companies consider their generative AI implementations as mature. The rest are stuck in what researchers call a Gen AI paradox, promising prototypes that break in production because they are built on quicksand. Here's a cool exercise to do before your next AI investment. Just ask yourself these 3 questions. The first one would be something like, if our primary AI vendor would triple prices tomorrow, how quickly could we switch without business disruption? And the second is, can our systems maintain 99.9% uptime during model outages? Finally, the third one, are we measuring success by model capabilities or business outcomes? If you can't answer confidently, you're building on a really weak foundation. The solution isn't waiting for some kind of magical models. It's building systems that improve regardless of what model powers them. And there is a specific proven playbook that's clearly visible in companies who actually master AI. And this is not a rocket science. Just start with your data pipeline instead of thinking about model selection. Implement retrieval augmented generation to ground AI responses in your, for example, company's knowledge base. This single intervention eliminates 60 to 80% of hallucinations by connecting models to verifiable facts instead of letting them fabricate answers. As a second step, you can think about building model-agnostic architecture. Treat your LLM as a replaceable component. Build abstraction layers that let you swap models without touching business logic. Smart architecture means using something like Gemini 2.5 Pro for complex reasoning and much more cheaper and faster models for routine tasks. You can see 40 to 60% cost reductions from intelligent routing alone. And finally, deploy a strong evaluation framework that measures performance on your specific tasks and not those overhyped public benchmarks. You will be surprised, but models that excel at reasoning still often fail at consistent JSON formatting in production. And the transformation this enables is truly remarkable. Picture exactly this conversation in your next board meeting. We passed on upgrading to GPT 5.5, let's say, because our current architecture already delivers results, and swapping the model would only result in something like 0.3% ROI increase. Our intelligent routing system automatically optimizes for cost and performance across 5 different providers. We are model agnostic and we are proud of it. And you know what it is? It's exactly the transformation from reactive consumer to strategic player. Instead of excitement about new releases, you feel confidence in your ability to evaluate them objectively. You're not impressed by vendor demos because you know exactly how any new model would perform in your specific environment and for your specific use case. The companies successful with AI, they are not chasing the latest and greatest, biggest models. They're building reliable, model-agnostic foundations that deliver consistent quality regardless of vendor announcements. They have achieved independence from hype-driven rollout and the weeks of chaos that follow when that new model breaks existing workflows. And your competitive advantage isn't access to bigger or better models. It's building systems that get better faster than your models actually do. While competitors wait for something like GPT-6 to solve their fundamental architectural problems, you will be already implementing the 3rd iteration of your evaluation framework and deploying AI that actually works. Build your AI systems on foundations that actually last and not on overhyped models. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more practical leadership insights that help you cut through the hype and build systems that deliver real business value. Cheers.